Today I'm joined by Nick Harris, who's Morgan's Senior Telecommunications Analyst. Leading into the reporting season, the sectors have been very interesting. It's had a strong 12 months with a lot of merger and acquisition activity and some share price performance which has really rewarded investors. Nick, welcome to the Morgan's Network again, and we'll start by just asking your views on the upcoming reporting season.
Well, Scotty, thanks for talking with me today. I guess maybe the first thing to talk about is Telstra, obviously one held by most people, and certainly the first telco to report, so they'll be reporting on the 11th of August. So I suppose surprisingly to a few people it's performed reasonably well. We've had it on an ad, and we've just recently moved it back onto a hold following that strong share price performance. So we think it's getting a bit tougher for Telstra. But importantly, the dividend that's likely to come in the second half, we're looking for a 16-cent dividend, which is up about half a cent on the previous year. So dividends continuing to grow. We think the outlook's a bit challenging, but we do also note that they've got a couple $1 billion worth of surplus capital from divesting Autohome, which is the Chinese equivalent of carsales.com, and they'll use that for capital management. What that means, they haven't yet told us, but my best guess is it'll be some form of on-market buyback that will help to deliver some earnings growth, despite some challenges growing the profits.
Good. Okay, so the dividend's obviously very important for our retail investors. In terms of companies that potentially will disappoint in this reporting season, who do you think is in that category?
I think there's two main stocks that we're conscious will disappoint. One is Big Air, that tends to not meet market expectations, unfortunately. They've had a lot of activity going on in that space, and it just sometimes takes a bit longer than people think to integrate acquisitions. So I suspect the costs will be a little bit higher than people are expecting in the half. And then the second one that I think actually presents more of an opportunity actually is Speedcast, which we've just recently put back onto an ad. Expectations are fairly high for that stock, but they have come back a little bit. People have got a little bit nervous, I guess, around the oil price heading lower. The oil and gas segment for Speedcast is about 20-25% of their revenue. And because it's been challenging out there in the oil and gas segment, I think people are a little bit nervous that Speedcast's growth in that segment particularly will be harder to come by. And while I don't doubt that things will be a little bit slower than people are expecting, the share price has given quite a lot back. So I think that actually presents an opportunity, because I don't think it'll be as bad as people think. And I think that's a very good company with some very strong earnings growth outlook. Perhaps it won't grow at 25%, it might be 20 or 15, but I certainly think that that's in the price for Speedcast.
Okay, and so the best picks at the moment in the space as you see it?
So our two key picks at the moment are NextDC. It's one that's hopefully very familiar to the Morgan's network, data centre operator all around Australia. It's building 2 additional data centres, one new one in Brisbane and another new one in Melbourne. They've guided, and we think they'll hit the top end of their EBITDA range, and EBITDA should more than double next year. So I think it's a company that's got a very strong earnings outlook, and it's really just starting to hit its straps, and it's really at the heart of Australia's digital economy. So it's a great infrastructure play and a great place to be invested with some strong earnings growth. And the second one was Speedcast that I mentioned earlier. I think that's an opportunity there. I think that the share price has given quite a lot back, and it's probably overcooked. So I think there's a good opportunity there. So that's NextDC and Speedcast are our two key picks.
Okay, well that's great. Been talking with Nick Harris, who's the Senior Telecommunications Analyst for the Morgan's Network.